Entrepreneurs are great solutions finders. The key issue at the moment is they don't know what the problem is. That lack of clarity is causing the frustration, and the key areas are access to talent. So a lot of employees are moving back to the European mainland, but also how are they going to find talent in the future? And secondly, access to markets. We don't know what we're going to be dealing with in terms of tariffs and opportunities, especially in the EU. So I think once we have more clarity on that, entrepreneurs will be happier.
Uncertainty really is an opportunity for entrepreneurs in particular, I think business leaders generally, in which we can thrive, we can take advantage of that. The key is trying to figure out what you can actually do about this and turning the uncertainty into a competitive advantage. Yeah? A competitive advantage against your competitors that haven't figured this out yet and are worrying about uncertainty and trying to implement the strategies they've adopted up until now.
In times of economic or political uncertainty, a growth mindset can help leaders and organizations navigate that. Because when we see ourselves as being able to change and improve, then we can better navigate obstacles. So something that leaders can do is have their organizations think about different scenarios and potential outcomes and think about how they could adapt to overcome those different scenarios.
Okay, if the country is not inside a customs union anymore, therefore we're going to have issues to deal with at borders. If we're not in a single market anymore, we're going to have a problem in terms of trade. The obvious one is if we have a business and we're highly exposed to either current levels of revenue coming from overseas or we plan to grow our business overseas, and I think how are we going to deal with that? Are we going to have to deal with tariffs in the future? So this hasn't been decided yet. It doesn't mean to say you sit there sitting on your hands waiting until somebody else decides what's actually happening. You figure, okay, if we are in that scenario and we do have to deal with tariffs, what will that mean for us? How would I implement it? Who would I need to speak to? How would I need to improve my team? What skills do I not have in my team to solve this problem? Where would I need to raise money from to implement all of this? So I have a plan in place. And it's a great place to be, to know, okay, in the event of having a tariff problem, I have a number of levers to pull, which is going to help me out of that, or at least limit the problem and reduce the risk.
So the key things that entrepreneurs are doing to manage that risk and also take advantage of opportunities is looking at their talent structures, whether they start building talent teams on the mainland of Europe or even looking at things like a remote work model. They're also looking at new markets outside of Britain and the EU. So over the last 12 months or so, the US has been particular interest for members and for entrepreneurs because they see it as a huge opportunity and market. And finally, supply chain. So members and entrepreneurs are looking at ways that they can potentially take advantage of a weaker pound, for instance, when they're manufacturing or looking at exports. So I think those three things together are the main areas that entrepreneurs are looking at.